Darian Weeks sounds like the name of a band that probably isn't that great, and I'm interested to get your thoughts on how great you think Ian Garry, aka the Future, is as he takes up the on Darian Weeks, who is 5-1, most recently went the distance on short notice against Bam Bam Barberena, and that's a pretty impressive debut, a definite feather in his cap, and it was a fight that he got controlled. He definitely lost decisively, but to get that experience, 15 minutes of it against a super tough guy like Bam Bam in your UFC debut, I thought was probably the best thing for him. If a loss is what the result is, and he's taken on he's taken on Garry, who the last time we saw Garry, he made his debut too. He actually picked up a win against Jordan Williams, but it wasn't without difficulty, right? I mean, he had to absorb some shots early. It almost looked like he might go out in that first round, and he did rally and ultimately got the late first round finish himself with some slick work on the feet. And we could kind of see why this Irishman has so much hype behind him because when he flashed that KO power, that looked pretty slick. But do you think he's the future? Is he the next great, as mentioned? And in this prelim headline spot, are you taking him over Darian Weeks?
Yeah, I know this is a pretty cool fight. Always love seeing new prospects. I mean, both these guys just had their debuts and now they're clashing together. So, very hard to pick, who truly is the better fighter. We've only seen these guys fight once, and who knows how much better they've gotten since then. But with that being said, I think I just gotta go with Ian Garry. I feel like there's a lot of hype. UFC's been pumping him. Mr. Weeks. I mean, let's be honest. Who is that? No one's been talking about him. No one's pumped him. But I see a lot of people online, a lot of videos. People are hyping this Ian Garry up as the future Conor McGregor because he's from Ireland. But I think he's kind of a bum, to be honest. But I think Weeks is a bigger bum. So with that being said, Ian is going to get it done, probably via KO to this absolute sausage potato. And once he fights someone actually good in the 170 division, the 24-year-old, the future, will not be the future anymore.
Yeah, it's gonna become the past quickly, I think, because especially at welterweight, where it's just killer after killer. So it'll be interesting to see how long this run can go for Ian Garry. And if we notice Tapology, 92% is rolling with the future. Majority of it is Brown. They think that Weeks is doomed to go down by the strikes. Are you at all worried about Weeks being able to mix this one up? Because he's a guy who's pretty well rounded. He's got some solid takedowns, and I gotta imagine he's probably gonna try and get Garry there. I mean, we know Garry trains at Sanford MMA, so at 24 years old, training with guys over at Sanford, he's gonna be getting better and better with a definite wrestling heavy focus for sure. But any concerns about if this fight gets to the mat, Weeks can take this one or not?
Yeah, that's a good question. We really don't know what Gary's ground game looks like, but I imagine over at Stanford he should have it done and be able to keep it up on the feet. But maybe he's a slippery, sloper, nice wrestler and grappler. We really don't know. So I would love to see this hit the mat because we know Weeks has got a nice little ground game, so he probably wants to take it there. It's just can he get it there? That is the question. If he gets it there, it might be a bad news for Gary. It's so hard to tell in this fight. But if you're going with the hype train, most likely Dana's trying to set this kid up with a KO, so he should be able to get it done. But honestly, we'll see. I'm not really bullish on any of these guys. They're both so young, so hey, they have years to prove me wrong, and I'm really excited to see where that takes them.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hell of an opportunity, right? It's a pay-per-view, it's a prelim headlining spot, and this card featured some shakeups, and this is what they settled on for this prelim headliner. But this is the show before the show, and it's the last fight on the docket, and we'll see if the future gets a lot of people to buy those pay-per-views with a statement performance against Darian Weeks. But I don't know. As you said, I wasn't that impressed with Ian Garry's debut. I mean, I liked his resilience and that he was able to fight back and deal with the adversity and come back and win with some a slick finish to put it frankly. But I just think that he was eating a lot of shots, and if Jordan Williams is tagging you, then it's going to be interesting to see how he holds up against other guys. And in this one, I like Weeks to mix this one up, get some takedowns, and ultimately, I'm going to go with Darian Weeks to pull off the upset. And I'm seeing this being just, I don't know, I think it's even too much too soon for Garry, putting him in this prelim headlining spot on this pay-per-view. And I like Darian Weeks to capitalize on the moment and try and steal the momentum from the future. But we'll see because he is a plus 260 dog. And the future is getting a lot of love from the odds makers at minus 350. So should be interesting to see. My last question for you: are you more bullish on the future Ian Garry or the future Macy Barber?
Man, that is a tough question, and I would be actually more bullish on Macy Barber, to be honest. As those grizzled vets and goats fizzle out, Macy really should start taking over. Ian Garry, that's 170 is one tough division, and everyone's pretty young still, and everyone's an absolute killer. So it's going to be a while. I think Macy has an easier road to the top if she can really level up. But honestly, both are bumps. Both are definitely the past. Excited for one of them to maybe become the future, but we'll see. I'm definitely taking Gary in this just because I gotta believe in the Dana pushing this kid and the hype, so it should be an easy layup. But throw in the comments what you guys got. Do you think the future is the future, or is he part of the past? I don't know. Throw in the comments.